Hey guys, let's chat a quick second here about Lyme's disease, anaplasmosis, um, all things tick-borne illness here today because 'tis the season. It's middle of April here, and actually, probably a month ago, I had two friends of mine that I was actually trying to help through their anaplasmosis journey. Um, One of my friend's dogs made it, and one of my friend's dogs did not make it. Now, I've had dogs here with anaplasmosis, which is similar to Lyme's disease because it is also a tick disease. Um, I think it's worse than Lyme's disease. It's nothing to fool around with. So they say that some people, even up here in the Northwoods of Michigan, will treat their dogs every single month with Lyme's or Lyme's, flea and tick treatments, or like the Bravecto, which is 3 months, whatever, but they'll treat them year round for it. Some people will do just more in the spring, summer months, but they say that as long as you have any days at all that are above freezing, ticks can be out there. So even, like I said, a month ago, we were in March, you would think, dang, it's too cold, but obviously not. There were some dogs in a lot of trouble. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to say, and I'm not anti-vet, so don't come at me. A lot of people are like, you sound like you don't like vets. I love my vets. They're fantastic. Um, and I myself personally am very blessed with access to amazing vets that are well educated, well versed in everything, and will listen to me. Because I'll tell you, you don't have to have a medical degree to know your animal, to know your dog. Listen to your gut, be an advocate for your animals because you know your animals better than any vet will. You'll pick up on things quicker than they will. So don't be afraid to go in there and say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I think it could be. Please run this or that test, whatever it is. Don't be afraid to say, I want this done. Don't be afraid to do that. Okay. What does it look like when a dog has a tick-borne illness, whether it's Lyme's, anaplasmosis, whatever? I can speak from my personal experience, and I can speak from what I've seen um, other dogs also present with. So it's not like humans. We have Lyme's disease. You think of the bullseye rash that we get. A lot of times there's no way that you can see every single tick that's on your dog, especially if you're dealing with livestock guardian dogs who have a double coat. I mean, you might as well literally try to go through with a fine-tooth comb. You're going to miss some, especially deer ticks that are super tiny. So you do what you can do to prevent, you do what you can do to check them over, but nothing is perfect. Nothing is foolproof. So usually they'll present with going off their food, not wanting to drink, not wanting to eat, malaise, or just generally looking like they probably feel like they got ran over by a truck. They will have generalized joint pain, just like humans do when we have Lyme's disease, to the point of my dogs would just cry, whine, scream when trying to move. Ridiculous amounts of pain. And usually a high fever, 104, not fun. Okay. Is this an emergency? Yes, this is an emergency. This is something that needs to be treated like yesterday. So for this reason, because it's hard to get into vets now, I don't care where you are, it's hard to get into vets, even if you're an established patient. So my vets have been very, very good to us. And I always have like a little supply, a little stash on hand. Because the other thing that I've noticed is once they are positive for something like this, they will have flare-ups. Like I have one female that anytime during stress, she'll have a flare-up. Usually big changes of the season, she'll flare up, or when she's coming in. Raina, it's a little windy. The dog's a little upset. She's guarding me against the wind. Girl, you scared me. I jumped. Come here. Real life, guys. Good girl. Thank you. Thank you. Good girl. Once they have it, they'll usually, like I said, flare up again under times of stress. Like I said, I have a female that twice a year when she goes into her cycle, she'll flare up. The nice thing is, Jack, here. The nice thing is when you're accustomed to it, walk with me so I can move the house dog. The nice thing is when you're accustomed to this and you know what it looks like, you can pick it up like immediately. Jack, here. He's sassy and he knows. So like the first 2 times that we had dogs deal with this, man, I didn't know it or see it until they were painful and fevered. Now I know. I can tell just by looking across the pasture. I can look and say, she doesn't feel good. So what do? We bring her in the house and let her rest it off because it's bad. It's nasty. It's gnarly. They need to rest. And I'm going to tell you the specialized, like, magic medication I found for when this happens. So my favorite combination, number 1, is prednisone. Prednisone is a steroid. It just goes in and basically just tells the body to chill the heck out. Like, we're stopping the party. Everybody's going to take it down a notch. We're going to calm down. So it reduces inflammation. It might also give them a little burst of energy to where it like stimulates their appetite. Okay, I want to eat. It's easier for me to get up now because I have less inflammation in my body. So I'm having less pain and it gives me a little spunk. Okay, so it's good. So prednisone and antibiotics. So that's huge. And we're talking antibiotics for a full month, at least. Number 1 go-to with most vets is doxycycline, just like with people when we have Lyme's disease, the same course of treatment. But I'll be honest, this season, what I'm seeing this year is a resistance to doxycycline. So that could be from years of that being the go-to medication, the go-to antibiotic, that things are just getting resilient, which is normal. We normally see that happen. Or whether it's just different kinds of ticks that are now that we're seeing. But you should start seeing improvement within 48 hours of being on antibiotics. You should start seeing improvement. Not unusual to have vomiting, nausea with this. So see if your vet will prescribe something for nausea. So those are really my go-tos, and something for pain. Okay, whether that's carprofen, which is like dog ibuprofen, something to help with pain because the pain is ridiculous. Okay, so antibiotics, steroids, a pain medication, and something for nausea. So those are like my 4 happy go-tos. If doxycycline doesn't work, the next best thing is Baytril. So Baytril, Baytril, B as in boy. It's expensive, but it works. And that's what I'm seeing this season is working for dogs. And like I said, within 48 hours, you should see some improvement, but it is a long road to hoe, a long road to recovery. And I'm talking, it can take the full month plus for them to get feeling like their normal selves again. Hydration is probably the most important thing. If you can't get much in their stomachs to eat, really focus on getting hydration in them. Otherwise, you may be having to look at IV fluids for them. But even if you could make up beef broth, bone broth, vegetable broth, chicken broth, some kind of broth, at least that's something. And you're getting some electrolytes in there. You're getting hydration in there that way. As far as eating goes, see if you can get some raw, maybe make some little hamburger balls with an egg in there, maybe a little oatmeal, and just offer little ball size, just something small, frequent to keep something in their belly so those medications aren't so hard on their stomachs. So, but don't be afraid to be your own advocate. A girlfriend of mine whose dog, they lost him. There was too much fussing around in the beginning and not being aggressive enough. You have to be aggressive with this. She took her dog in And I'm not going to say who the vet was, but if you're local to me, I would be more than happy to tell you who it is. Would not listen to her. He presented with all the normal symptoms, and they tested him. He popped positive for anaplasmosis, but they insisted that with tick-borne illnesses, there is no pain involved with it. So they were convinced that he had a back injury. So they treated him for a back injury. Was never a back injury. Folks, it was anaplasmosis. And eventually that's what took his life. And it was because they just jerked around too much. They had never heard of Baytril. They had never heard of a tick disease causing pain. I was infuriated. Not even my dog. I was infuriated. The blatant just not listening. Here, have some gabapentin. That'll help your back pain. Yeah, sure. Does nothing for your anaplasmosis, though. So, that left a bad taste in my mouth for sure. So, in a case like that, don't be afraid to say, I'm going to a different vet, or you're off your rocker and this is the treatment I want. Guys, our vets work for us. We pay them through the nose for stuff. They need to listen to us. Are they better schooled than us? Yes. And I'm not saying go in there and like strong arm your vet, but don't be afraid to say, look, I'm uncomfortable with what you're telling me. I feel like this is off. And don't be afraid to get a second opinion. So I'm getting all worked up again. I'm getting all frustrated now and upset with the people. So anyway, that's what tick-borne illnesses can look like. That is what they often present with, and that is probably the best ways to treat it, and treat it aggressively, like yesterday, and stay on the medications. Don't shortcut it. Don't be like, well, we were on it for 2 weeks and they're doing better, so we'll stop. No, that's another reason how antibiotic resistance happens with humans and animals. So stay the course, complete the full treatment to try to get rid of it. Yeah, that was kind of like supposed to be a PSA that turned into a rant. For that, I apologize, but I just got all worked up. So, yeah, so stay safe out there, guys. I don't care whether you're using Seresto collars, Bravecto every 3 months, if you're doing topical down the shoulder and down the back. This stuff can get pricey. So do what you can do what you can afford, because something is better than nothing. And stay safe out there and just love your animals, guys. Thanks.